family. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you're watching us. Yes, we are back with part 2 or segment 2 of Sabiti Herbert, the story, the president of the PKs and an author for this book and a businessman and a lot more, a family man. So he's taking us through his story. If you have not seen the first, to see this, you need to first go back to the first segment to be able to get where we have reached. So we left off when you had, you're going to sit S4, you are expelled from school, you have decided to sit your father down and tell him, you know what, let's speak man to man.
Yes.
That's where we went off from. So you can take us through maybe for somebody who is joining us for the first time, you could introduce yourself and then go straight to where we ended.
Yes, I'm Herbert Sabit, a businessman, an entrepreneur, and a mentor of very many youth, and a president of Pastors Children Association of Uganda. And I thank God that I'm able to share my story to young people out there, because my passion is for young people. I've mentored quite a number of them. Some are out in the marketplace working, others have been mentored. And my story, like I told you, when we were expelled, and my father got to know that I was expelled. I sat him down and we negotiated, and he accepted. Luckily enough, gave him the money, and of course with many words, told him many words, and so I reached Cavalry Town, and I met the other people, my friends who
had also been
expelled. We hired a place in the place called Manshari. We hired a room, and we sat down and agreed that let's change our lives, because so that was the serious leadership. We didn't want. We wanted to teach ourselves. So we could read because I told you St. Mary's was both day and boarding. So I would get notes from the scholars and we would teach ourselves. The whole day we would be discussing. Even when we get tired, we used to have a radio cassette. Remember that radio cassette where we used to even have tapes and you record. You put a tape and record yourself reading, so that when you are sleeping you hear. You read out loud. When you are sleeping you hear what you were reading. So we are so serious. We stopped drinking. We stopped joking with life. We were 7 of them. We became so serious.
And you truly did it.
Yes, we did it.
With all the freedom and all that.
Yes, all the freedom. We couldn't drink. We said no. Let's shape our future. Now, I want to tell you that when during exams, actually we would always we had the body dance because that was the condition. It was the condition. So every time you enter the gate, you go with a policeman. So we had a policeman, and each person had his own policeman. We had a policeman. They wait for us after a paper. After paper, if you have another paper in the afternoon, you go out of the gate. No, you go out of the gate. You come back. So we were tortured, but it was a seriously resilient that out of by that year when the results came, we had 14 in total in first grade, 14, and out of 14, and the 6 of us were those who were expelled, including me. We came in first grade. just imagine out of 40, almost half
And
of the class,
Yeah,
those who were
you were-
expelled were in first grade because
In
of self-leadership. By the way, young people, you don't need to be led by anyone. You can lead yourself.
Make a decision.
As I have told you in the first segment, I took myself to ask for a vacancy in primary 7. Now here I led myself to be in the first grade, and even up to now, I still lead myself. You don't need to be led by anyone because the future belongs to you. It
Yeah,
doesn't
it's
belong
your
to anyone.
future.
It's your future.
Just like how you told your grandfather, this is my future.
This is my future. So I finished senior 4, and we went
to back.
I went to senior 4 back. When results came, I told my father, my grandfather is my father. I told him, you see, I told you that this is my future. I would make it. Now I requested a final request that now since you know that I can lead myself, please allow me to go to this college in Tulare for my A level. And he accepted.
Okay.
As I have told you that it was my passion to join that great senior.
So here you're about 18, right?
Yes, around 18. Yeah.
HSC, you're in a single school.
Yeah, now in a single school. But in my senior 4 VAC, during my P7 VAC, I think our parents were intentional in mentorship and mentoring me. Because during my primary 7 vacation, my grandmother took over to sharpen me as a man, how a man should behave and how I should be careful when I joined secondary school. But in senior 4 VAC, Musei took over. He told me all about life. He told me about marriage. He told me everything.
As early as that.
Yes. He told me everything about marriage, about future, and I'm actually handling marriage, my marriage now because of that reason. So, parents out there who are watching me, you need no one can mentor your child better than you. You need to mentor your children. So
now before we go into now high school and life HSC, we need you to tell us a little bit about life as a child of the clergy. As somebody out there, since it's a big segment, we need to know the do's and don'ts. They always go to church. Tell them like how that has even helped you now, or even destroyed you. So
they used to say, and it's somehow true because of the story I was telling you that PKs are not they are not well behaved, and it's not because our parents were not mentoring us. Like I've told you, my father intentionally mentored me in senior 4 VAC, but if you have asked me, let me take you back to my primary 7 vacation. I was made, it was compulsory, that's my grandfather, made me to read a Bible from Genesis to Revelation. And every evening I would sit with him and tell him what I've read and what I've learned and how I understand it. So really I read the Bible when I was in my primary. But of course we had the altar every before we sleep. We had an altar after supper. We would sing, and we had drums. We would beat drums, sing, and pray and go to bed. And of course, on Sunday, if I'm not going to grace, it was compulsory to have to go to church, and we used to take readings. What I remember very well is that it is we used to beat drums in the early morning, very early morning for service early morning on Wednesday, and at 4 there used to be those fellowships for the born again. So to beat the drum, call them for on Tuesday and Thursday. I don't know whether it is still there because they used to have a fellowship in the evening. Those who were born again. What is, as I told you, shifting from one place to another was an interesting season. Being on that lorry, very interesting season. And going back to harvest what you left behind, and you find all has been stolen.
You used to go back to harvest what you left.
Because they would make us, they would transfer us when we had some garden, and the food is still in the garden. Then you go back and you carry it like for 12 kilometers or even 20 kilometers on your head. Sometimes you go to harvest and you find they have already stolen. They have stolen. So it is very challenging, but also an adventurous situation. But what I know, much as we say that we are very poor, we are one of the elites in the community. Because the planted kids, the rich kids, they would want to associate with us than any other person.
You have the fame and you
have the fame as a child of the clergy.
Yeah, also the privacy. Talk about privacy. You know, in these homes, since it's a home of all Christians and everyone.
You have reminded me.
I don't know how it is affecting either your life today, now as an independent man, or I don't know, say something about that.
Oh, thank you. You have reminded me that our bed was not our bed. Whenever we get a visitor, you go to the sitting room, you sleep down and you go to your bed. And of course, it was very common to have visitors. Visitors. People are always coming in and out. I remember in Kanjobe during 1994 genocide, we used to host a number of refugees from Rwanda, and God is amazing. That year it was also there was a lot of famine, but because we hosted those refugees, we had a serious harvest. We had enough sweet potatoes, and we had enough sweet potatoes that we could feed. We could feed those refugees that will come home. So up to now, I love visitors. I'm generous, which is very negative, because I cannot keep money. I cannot keep money. I used to. You feel you are giving, and you forget your own family. Your own family.
I can imagine.
Your
wife must be
having
a lot of confidence on that.
Yeah. I tried to work on myself to plan very well. I realized it was a serious weakness, where if you meet someone and asks you money and you give all that you have, and you even cannot manage
yourself.
You cannot manage to buy bread, take home. Yeah, but we used to. Our parents used to call everyone, like on Sundays. Please come and go to eat. Please come, and people will come. And by the way, we used to cook for unexpected visitors, because they would come. Whenever we would cook, you have to put an allowance.
Yes.
They have to put an allowance of the unexpected visitors. Then there's another thing we used to do that is very interesting. As clergy, would do, especially in the evening, whatever we would cook, would take it to share it with the lay readers. So you put in a container and take it, and they also in the same container they put their food, or if they for us, so sharing was a part of us. If they have not yet, if their food is not yet ready, then we come back and they bring their food. And interestingly, sometimes we would have similar food, like let's say Irish and beans mixed, Irish mixed with beans, that category, and the same, but they put it back in the container. They eat what we have given them, and they put back what they have. Yet it was similar, so it was an interesting. I think I don't know whether they teach them in missiology, but that generosity, I really recommend it. I recommend it so well.
So yeah, before we go into high school and HSC, first take us through life as a PK. If you were out there, we want to know life as a PK. How did it treat you, and probably how you're affected now, or how it has inspired you?
Thank you so much. In my primary 7 work, my grandfather gave me a task of reading a book, the Bible from Genesis to Revelation. And every evening I would meet him and I tell him what I've learned and what I've read. So there was no extra that you have not read. And being a reverend, of course, he knows the Bible, so you cannot lie him. You cannot lie him that this chapter is about this and this chapter is about this. So I finished reading the Bible in my primary 7 verse. But like any other pastor's home, we used to have evening altar. We had drums, we'd sing and pray, and before we sleep. And also, I think I remember about the generosity in our homes, like where we would invite every visitor. Like I remember on Sunday, we used to braid sorghum using braiding stone. So on Saturday we would do that, so that on Sunday we have Bushera for Christian, whatever would come up. So my grandmother would call, hey, we have Bushera, come home. Sometimes for us we would get annoyed and much. I remember even when we are cooking, we would cook for unexpected visitors. We used to have visitors every now and then. And I remember our bed was not our bed. We used to sleep in
no privacy.
No privacy. If a visitor comes, for you are supposed to sleep in the sitting room. And the visitor goes to the bed. So you sleep down in the sitting room and the visitor goes to your bed. So there was no privacy at all. But she taught me a lot, especially being generous, which also, if it becomes an extreme, it can be bad. Because I remember when I had just gotten married, you meet someone, you ask you 20,000, you give it away, and yet it's the only money you have. And you forget, you reach home, they ask you, you did come with bread, I don't have money. So you forget yourself. And I always tell people that the Bible says that one of the greatest commands is love your neighbors, you love yourself. So if you don't love yourself, you cannot claim to love. So you have to first love yourself, then you love other people. So, and also remember those shifting from one place to another. We would go back, because sometimes we shift when we have just dug, just planted crops, those seasonal crops. Of course, perennial crops like bananas, we when you leave it for the next priest. So we go back to harvest, and sometimes you find the garden empty. The fishes have stored everywhere. But also, if you are lucky and you find the food, you carry it on your head like 20 kilometers. You walk 11 kilometers. You walk to the new church. Yeah, much as we say that we are poor, but we were elite in the community because the prime kids, the rich kids would want to associate with the children of the clergy. Yeah, okay. I remember very well. That generosity, that sharing between us and the lay readers family, because every evening we would prepare food, put it in the container, take it to the other home, to the lay readers' home, and in that same container, if their food is ready, they put back what they have prepared and bring it. If it's not yet ready, then they bring it later. Sometimes we even cook similar food, but again, the spirit of sharing, they must. If it is sweet potatoes and beans, they put it back the way it is. But we have to share. I think it was a very good thing. It was a very good thing.
The clergy of these days, children of clergy, you're missing out on that. Maybe there is a way you people are also doing it. But yeah, I love that too. Okay.
Yeah. Also, what I remember very well is that our parents were disciplinary. You cannot shame. I remember actually, Mose told me that he should never see me standing on the roadside with a girl. I'd rather take her home. And I always take my girlfriends home. And sit in the sitting room and we talk, and then I let her go.
The image of the family.
The image of family has to be protected.
You'd rather bring her home.
Yes, it's true.
It's good, you will not do anything wrong first of all.
Yeah, when you are home. So we had to protect. They were disciplinary. Chibok were always Chibok. You have to do this, you have to do this. But I remember what I loved so much was beating the drums, calling Christians on Sunday morning. On Wednesday at 5 a.m. wake up and take and call especially born again for fellowship on Thursday at 4 p.m. and Tuesday at 4 p.m. Up to now, by the way, when I go home on Christmas, I make sure that I reach church early enough so that I can.
They still do, or now they have bells?
No, they still do. For us, we are still in the village.
Yeah.
Not like you in the towns. Yeah. So that was interesting. When I was in the senior folk back, after getting those results, I told Mose that I have to go to Kids College of Tobere. I remember I had wanted to go to Kids College of Tobere. I told Mose, now since you see I'm a reader, I was able to prove prove what I said, and got first grade. Allow me go to Tobere, and he allowed me, he accepted me. When I reached Tobere, it was another experience altogether. Because like at St. Mary's, they were very strict, no radio, no what, but reaching there, everyone had a cassette in their homes. Yeah, music there. There's something that I will never forget. There's someone who was so drunk and he was, shouting louder that I've gone home, like those villagers. Talking about, calling about your cows and what. Students in school, and it was normal. It looked normal. So
single schools, I think students are more bold and more daring and more what we call it panda. They are more like that.
And we used to, they used to have that self-driven, where you have to read your books, because at the end of the year you have to be demoted if you have no pass mark of 50. So we had to read. We had to read on our time, and whenever you go out of the gate, you are representing senior. You have to walk with that image.
Yes.
I remember very well when we had games, district games in town, in Kavala Stadium. One boy had a Madam Senior vibing a girl from Muyere, from Bishop Road to the girls in Muyere. You see, I'm a Senior, and as for Senior, everyone is proud of us and what. So the guy had him and said, this guy is misrepresenting us. So when we reached school, he reported, and we recorded him for disciplinary. And first of all, we had to teach him on how to vibe.
And not disciplinary for doing the wrong thing.
No, for doing, yes, it was the wrong thing.
For vibing wrongly.
Hey, that's the wrong thing. Vibing wrongly was the wrong thing. So I had to be taught on how to vibe as a senior, but was also given 3 chiboko, 5 slashes. So if you are if you are going out of the gate, you have to dress like if you don't have the right clothes for the rich kids, you have to borrow. You have to borrow. Even if you are poor, you have to show that you're senior who's put on those jeans and those big jeans.
Some kind of bell
bottom. It was very school, but it taught us resilience, taught us hard work, it taught us generosity. So that's how we used to. So from then, the boy now he knew how to vibe. I think even up to now he knows how to vibe. Yeah. So the way they taught us to be resilient, to work hard. And to tell you the truth now, I don't see any around town here. I don't see any senior. People are saying the senior struggling. Either they are businessmen, either they are wherever they are, whether they are managers or what, they are doing great work. So I think the secondary school's foundation they matter so much for our future.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you do, most single schools used to have this solidarity. Did you have any at Tobere?
Yes, with the and solidarity was, of course, the order of the day. We used to have a solidarity with Muyere. I remember very well. There was a teacher who used to also that were teaching in Muyere, and would write letters, and he send, and they also write for us letters, and it was interesting, having number mates. We used to have those number mates. I remember very well. One time during independence, on 9th October, we went to Rukunjiri to look for our number mates, and unfortunately we never got them. So we matched it. But fortunately enough, during his senior 6 party, we did what the school had never done. We invited Margaret and the girls from Okonjina, and they accepted. We sent there a bus, was on bus, was on coach.
Wow.
Back
then people used to move in trucks. We sent a bus.
We sent a bus for our girls. And then we went and met them with the other cars, and we made a convoy and a band around town, and it was
you could sell for that. For
you can sell for that. Don't you remember what we used to do? Asking money for photo sessions, all of you. That's the money we saved for. We are going for trips. Young people are watching, we shouldn't do that. But also we are more knowledgeable. You cannot lie us. You can't lie us. Yes, we know what it is. We know what it is for success mean.
Okay. Wow. So you're done with school. I wanted to ask about yes, even with the strictness in the families of the clergy, we find still the world knows children of the clergy to be the most naughtiest. What can you say about that?
It is a lie. Why I say it is a lie is that everyone can be naughty, everyone can be and misbehave, but because we are expected to behave very well, we're expected to be an example. When one person out of 10 misbehaves, they say the children of the clergy are not well behaved. That's number one. Number two is that during this my leadership as pastors, as the president of Pastors Children Association of Uganda, I have come to realize that there is a way God is paying dividends of the sacrifices of our parents through us, because we have people who are in very big positions in the government, in the companies. We have very many CEOs, we have very many businessmen and women who are PKs. So to me, at this time when I got a dream that PKs had gathered and formed a circle, and we had a lot of money that the president summoned the Archbishop to ask to get to know where the source of these funds. And the Archbishop said that God is paying dividends for the sacrifices of the parents. So to you, PK who is watching me tonight, that dream has come to pass. I know God is surely paying dividends because the parents have sacrificed so much. They didn't have what to eat. They don't have. Recently, I talked to some bishop in the northern region. Those people are suffering. Those clergy are suffering. They get 50,000. Some of the lay readers, children and wives are going to dig for the community. I feel so bad. Like I mentioned, I still feel that as believers, as Christians, and as leaders of Church of Uganda, there is much we can do with our given resources, especially land. You know, land is a factor of production. There are very generous people who give land for free, and when I see some of the land has been encroached on, or even some of the land has been sold off, how can you get land for free and you sell it off instead of utilizing it and using it for production? I thank God for the current Archbishop who is spearheading the sustainability of the church, but we can do much the church and business should not be, should do, maybe they say if the church goes into business, if the church goes into business, it has gone out of their mandate, but I say no, because the first mandate in the Bible is that be fruitful, multiply, and have dominion over the earth. And you cannot have dominion when you are poor. You cannot, multiplying does not mean only giving birth. Multiplication means that if I produce this book, if I produce this book, just one book, the copies can be 1,000 or 1,000,000 copies, and I sell it. That's multiplication. That's being fruitful. You make a product and you go and sell it. It does not mean that it is not good. As in business, it does not mean that this is also a ministry. Business is also a ministry. Having a poor church is really not a ministry. You are not representing God. God expects us to be rich everywhere, wherever we are. So I call upon the leadership of Church of Uganda, much as the Archbishop is spearheading this, he cannot do it alone. From the lay reader to the bishops and the clergy and the Christians, let's do what we can. Sometimes we major in minors and minor in majors. So, for what do I mean? Sometimes we focus on liabilities instead of assets. For example, we focus on buying Porsche cars or clergy, buying what, instead of giving him like a Frisian cow that can produce. A car is a liability. A cow is an asset. A liability is something that takes away money from your pocket. An asset is something that brings money into your pocket. So we need to understand, and by the way, all this is in the Bible. All this in the Bible. And if you use the biblical principles, you can always prosper. And if you don't use it, whether you are a bishop or a clergy, you will remain in lack. Because what God has put, His standards, cannot be changed. So that's what I can communicate. I felt like in this interview I should say that, I should honestly say this to the church.
Well, thank you so much, Michael, for highlighting that. In fact, speaking of that, the ones who have retired, really many of them, if not all of them, living a very, very miserable life. And so thank you for highlighting that. No wonder that's why you are our leader.
I feel so bad that a servant of God can beg.
Struggle,
can struggle and beg. We are in and I think I can mention it because we are in the final stages with the DFCO Bank to start training our clergy and also the children in financial literacy. So we will be traversing the entire country and trying to teach them on financial literacy, retirement planning, but also there is my wife who prepares bushera, the chichiga bushera, and sometimes she puts in honey. And where we buy honey, I think she 20-30 can she pays around 400,000. We have land across. Just even keeping beehives. Keeping beehives, you can get honey. By the way, there is where I have land in Isinjiro. The neighbor was so poor. Every time I go there and I take him soap, I take him what. At one time I asked him that you have banana plantation. Your banana plantation is very, it's not is not looked at. What did you do? Because he goes to just drink and what. So I gave him 100,000. Go and buy these young chicks.
Okay.
Keep them, the local chicks. Keep them. Make sure that you look after them. Now, every time I go there, I come with a Coke out of 100,000. Out of 100,000, I think I've already chewed like over 300 worth of the Coke. So the multiplication, making money is, we want to do something big, but God can bless with even as little as 10,000 and you multiply it. I'm not sounding like a motivational speaker, because that's the truth. You can keep behind because bees want where there is water and where there are flowers. Just that.
Just do it.
And you wait for harvest. Yeah, you can do something. You can do something that. So to you, church leaders, yes, much as your role is to pastor God's children, it's not only that. You can prepare for retirement. It's very bad to retire and. Your investment is in children. If the children don't, an investment in children is also a risky investment.
Especially now in this generation.
This generation where they don't feel they can even have money and they forget about you. I used to read something that. One parent can take care of 10 children, but 10 children still take care of you. And it's the truth.
It's happening.
It is the truth. There is, in the family, there's only one person that takes the burden. I've seen other people, even if other people have money, but there is only one person that is generous and takes all the burden. So if that person is not there in your family, you find you are begging on the streets. Yeah. So that's the life of PK.
You've mentioned great, and that is very good. Thank you so much for highlighting that. We're going into now, after high school, we go to campus or go into the world. Take us through that.
Now, in my senior 6 vacations, I had already retired. And we had shifted to, actually in the area we had retired to a place called Chogombe, Western Church of Uganda, and in Kabale, and that place was not his original home. His original home was a bit far, so he came near the main road. In my senior 6 back, I was new in that place because when you are in the area for most time you are at school, most of the time you are at school. So I felt, what can I do to change this community? So I started with some members who were in VAC also, and I gave them an idea that we are going to start an association that is going to change the community. So I gave them the deal, and they agreed, and we went to all churches and brought in and spoke our proposal to parents. And the proposal was that every day during holidays, every day at 4 p.m. we meet at church, and because the church also has a primary school, for discussions. So the children, secondary school children will come and we discuss with them, for us in VAC, in math, in biology, in geography, in what, and on condition that during the day you are going to do home errands. You are going to do farming, you are going to fetch water, you are going to fetch firewood. And I told parents that if your child does not do errands, just report him or her to me. Because every time they would report, we would suspend you for a week. And we made it so enjoyable that everyone would look forward to meeting us at 4 p.m. We would discuss, and let me tell you, everyone who joined that association is flourishing in life, because we taught them. I actually became a leader, I became an elder in the village at my younger age, because parents would come and report to me there, and by the way, every parent was very happy because the children's behaviors changed.
Oh, what was the motivation? Well, there's something you were offering that made
the motivation was having different people. First of all, most of them used to be in the poor secondary schools, but we have people now from Barala High School, High School, very good schools. You meet from poor and rich schools, you meet and discuss. That was the motivation. Another motivation was that every Saturday we used to go and dig. We identify a family that has elderly people who don't have children to help them. We go and dig for them, and we are 80 in the number, above 80 in the number. You know, being in one garden, and you go and dig and you have your cows. Within 30 minutes you have already finished, you are done. And so the community became happy, and we changed every Sunday in the evening. We had inter-village competitions, football, and the village people like football so much that people actually forgot to drink. So, and the bar owners started saying, this guy, who brought this guy in our village? They started hating me because people would forget to go to drink.
After the match.
And you know what? I changed and transformed the community without any single point. Just the mind and leadership. Of course, you know, politicians, they want to rally behind such a kind of groups, and they will be bringing piglets, they will bring in what, so we used to wear piglets, and so we had flourishing years during my senior six back. That's what I can remember. And then later I joined one of the people that was in the association was Wedatim Makerere, and he told me, the way I know you Sambit, what the very good course to do is business, business administration. So he told me about business administration, and I accepted, and I went and I came and I applied for it, and I was given on a private. My aunt then paid for me. Now, imagine at senior 6, I didn't know about career guidance. I didn't know what I wanted to be in the future until my colleague told me that you need to study business. So I feel that schools, much as not that I undermine the career teachers and what, to me I think schools should purpose to always invite different professionals out there in the professions, in the marketplace, to tell the children what it entails. You invite a land surveyor, tell the children about land surveying, what it is. Invite a doctor, invite a lawyer, because when we grew up, we used to know a profession is a teacher, a lawyer, and a doctor. We didn't know any other profession apart from those. So to me, I think career guidance is very important, but more important is to invite the people who have that experience to talk to the children, and that's actually part of what we are doing at Young and Flourishing which I think I will
You will explain much later. Oh yes, thank you for that. I think in the next segment we shall cover probably still much more of your campus days, and then we see where the story leads us. So we're going to take a break. Keep here, keep around, and wait for part 3 or segment 3 of Sabiti's story. I hope the young people you are recording, I hope you are mastering what he's telling you, and I believe you are leaving this place a changed person. Thank you so much. My name is Naomi. Shalom.